Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
And we welcome you back to Inside West Virginia Politics. As promised, we're talking solely about the medical marijuana issue here in West Virginia this week. Joining us right now is Diana Stout. She is Chief Counsel for State Treasurer John Perdue. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
A lot of people wonder what's the Treasury got to do with medical marijuana. We mentioned at the top of the show there's a banking issue here.
There is.
There are banks, commercial banks that do business with the state and transact money, and they are very concerned about being prosecuted under federal law if they take money related to medical marijuana, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Is there a real concern there? I mean, I realize marijuana is still illegal at the federal level, but gosh, 29, 30 states have passed it for medicinal use, and I don't think any of them are being prosecuted.
West Virginia basically is just authorizing medical. Some of the other states have recreational as well as medical, but effectively when somebody files for a license, somebody also has to pay taxes. All of those monies need to run through the state treasury, and that's where we have the banking issue. All
right, we're going to talk about this in terms of possible solutions because your boss and the people on the staff have come up with the idea, well, should the state create its own bank, or should the state create what's known as a closed loop system, financial system where people could buy and sell medical marijuana without the threat of prosecution? Talk about those two options.
Well, a state bank, there is effectively only one of those at this point in time, the Bank of North Dakota. It was created many years ago, and it basically was a huge impetus for economic development. They have a variety of different entities that they control and regulate with regards to that, and they've done a really, really good job. A lot of states, because of the problem with banking medical marijuana, are looking at creating either a city or a county or a state bank of their own right. But so far, nobody's really done that. Entities like California, Colorado, Maryland are looking at it, really looking at it closely.
All right, let's talk about the closed loop system, which a person could put money in, let's say a patient, put money into it and get medical marijuana. The payment would transfer to the supplier. How does that work? Give us an analogy, if you would.
The analogy I typically use is like Lowe's. You go to Lowe's, you give them $100, say, whatever the amount you may want to give them. They give you a Lowe's card. You can go to any Lowe's and use that card, but you can't go to Home Depot, you can't go to Kroger's, you can't use it anywhere outside of the Lowe's system, and that's effectively how a closed loop system would work. You can only use it with regards to the entities that are authorized in that loop.
So basically medical marijuana distributors, dispensaries, and people who are patients who have signed up and qualified for the program. So it's a closed system. Would that prevent then the federal government coming in and prosecuting anyone?
So far, it is being used in a variety of different entities, different states, different municipalities, different counties that have authorized medical marijuana as well as recreational. And to date, none of them have been prosecuted.
What would it take to make this happen? I know it's been discussed in the legislature. Not long ago, the governor, well, a few months ago anyway, he said we need perhaps to call a special session on medical marijuana to deal with it solely. He's not called that session. I mean, is that something we would need to get this implemented? Because medical marijuana is supposed to be illegal July 1st, 2019.
In terms of it's supposed to be authorized and actually available July 1st, 2019. Effective with the April 2017 Act, the authorization existed in West Virginia to have medical marijuana produced as well as to purchase under the and it's very limited in West Virginia, unlike some other states that have recreational use. This is medical use only. So the concept is that everybody gets their opportunity to actually use it in that matter, but it's difficult. West Virginia, we have a federal prosecutor that seems to be pretty vehement in his opposition with regards to medical marijuana and hemp as well. He's recently filed suit in a civil matter against, I guess, some veterans in Mason County, showing his true interest in this.
We're down to a minute. What would take it to get the medical marijuana problem here or issue off of dead center and get it available to the public in your mind?
At a minimum, we would need legislation, and we would like to have some control and some ability to basically eliminate some of the risks associated with that, such as if we have local credit unions, local banks being able to do this, that we give them some backups, limitations that the county and the city, the state would not be prosecuting them. We can't do anything to control the federal level. We'd also like to have some indemnification available to us, if at all possible, for not just them, but for the Treasury.
All right, Diana Stout, General Counsel for Treasurer John Perdue. Great to have you on the show today.